desperate attempt to fill 24 hours of programming, here's some bullshit that happened somewhere today.
Welcome back to the TISM Report. Today, we'll be going over some overall predictions for the forecast, the videos that'll be coming from Lio Convoy and Doodle Tones. I want everyone to remember this when their videos release addressing all of this, especially in the case of the FCK. Lio and Hopeless Peaches put Rosa into several public calls, telling her to go find a noose and make sure it was nice and tight when she jumped.
Go find a noose. Make sure it's nice and tight when you jump, Hunger for Hose.
To stick her hand in a blender.
I'm bisexual. Do you want to become my friend? Because I would rather see you stick your hand in a blender, personally.
And that she's a little dumb slut.
I just really want to highlight the fact that you've been sat here completely unfazed about the fact that people who actually been affected by your actions are actually in distress and you do not give a shit, and yet you've been sat here the whole time messaging Blue, crying because you're in call and no one's helping you through it. But if you really wanted someone to help you through this call, like you've been begging from Blue, that's why I say one more time. Did I finish talking or did my mic just cut out? I'm sorry. Is my mic working? Sorry, Lio, is my mic working?
It sure is, kid.
Oh wow, I'm so amazed. That's so funny. Maybe you want to clean your ears out, little slut hole, because I didn't finish speaking. So I was gonna say, if you actually wanted some help, instead of crying to Blue, who does not give a shit about how you feel, one last time, I can say you can always drag your mummy in here. Maybe she'll help. You came in here and you pissed off everyone. Blue was being really kind to you. And now you think that you can sit there, like, DMing them for, like, the past, like, couple hours now, going, oh, please, I am really upset. Can someone please help me through this? As, like, literally Endo is in here crying, and you do not give a shit. And even when you were asked, could I have an apology? You just went, yeah. And then nothing. Complete silence.
I just wish.
Well, I'm just trying to do is collect my thoughts.
You don't have any
You've
thoughts to collect.
been collecting your thoughts for 4 hours, you little dumb slut.
That was all done with the justification that Rosa knew there was a groomer in her server that she was admin in, or a server that she was admin in, and did nothing. Did not remove said groomer, nor told anyone else. So instead of condemning that, I'm going to look for some consistency. Why have we not seen any calls with any of the FCK members being berated and insulted for knowing what was going on and saying nothing for years? Well, wait, Lio was doing the opposite of that. He's working with the FCK to produce a defense video, specifically Doodle Tones and Nezziemonster. Those are who I've confirmed. 2 individuals who knew. So regardless of the pedantic details of when they knew, they still knew in 2020 and said nothing. The same exact people who have gotten onto others for not speaking up for shit very similar. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but the SCC were judging Keyblade and Tippy for knowing about V Omega and not speaking up. With the tips and information my several sources have given me on top of what these people have said publicly, or even subtly, I've sat and thought about all of the events in retrospect, and I'm fairly confident in this forecast prediction of what their responses will entail. Now, allegedly, their responses and its angle is constantly changing because they're scattered and all over the place, frantic even, but the main theme is that it's extremely pedantic in its complaints over the coverage of the FCK, which leads me to believe that yet again they'll proclaim that it's being misrepresented, that I'm somehow being disingenuous or dishonest in how I'm speaking about it, that the presentation of the FCK Discord server is somehow dishonest. But like before, unable to specify what's a lie or false. I also believe they'll talk about my supposed bad faith intentions, that I didn't like the FCK before, that my goal is to ruin these people and destroy them, which even if that was the case, that doesn't remotely affect the validity of the evidence. If it's still true, it's still true. But then again, these types of people will refuse to accept that because they're desperate to soften the blow. I'm willing to bet they'll paint Nezziemonster a victim to my 4 years of harassing her. Possibly even other FCK members. Considering the Ellie Momeli harassment screenshots, they'll probably throw those in too to get a more sympathetic look with the audience. The problem with them reaching as far as, oh my god, people are being rude and disgusting towards me. This is harassment. Let's use that to distract from the situation. Is that I have an extensive folder on the comments I've gotten, the DMs, the statements made about me across several Discord servers over the last 4 years that all came from the FCK's lies about me, much of which was far worse when I was 16 and 17. Yet I haven't used any of that to distract away from my mistakes or the accusations that are made at me. And that would be because I'm not a fucking coward. If they want to play the victim card, I'll gladly play that game with them. I've had shit far worse said about me and to me than I've ever said to anyone in the FCK. Far worse than the shit Ellie was messaged with. So let's play that game. Considering Lio and the Senate's tactic is a game of dishonest guilty by association, such as claiming I harbor an abuser and a zoophile apologist, which makes no fucking sense. First, who? Second, how am I harboring whoever this is when Lio has any critics? Just throw false accusations and guilty by association at said critics. Senatism's 101. My video going over Doodle tones and Doodle's video addressing that roleplay one last time, where I pointed out that Susie was doing diaper-shitting artwork and roleplay before they even met their groomer, to make it look like those daring to talk about it are victim-blaming. It wouldn't shock me if Lio twists my video to claim that I'm victim-blaming Doodletones or that I'm questioning Doodle's grooming. It would be stupid considering I flat out agreed that Doodles was groomed in the video, just that they were a degenerate before that, so the grooming doesn't explain the degeneracy. Thinking of the events as a whole and what Lio could use in general, I have some sneaking suspicions to how he'll respond to his other critics such as Inla or Gilded Pooh. When Nezziemonster took to Twitter telling all that she was suicidal over the audience disliking that she knew what was going on in that degen hellhole that is the FCK server, Gilded Pooh told her to do it. I would bet money they'll mention that for sympathy. With Inla, they'll probably whine about her server or even the ketchup joke that was made to mock their made a girl cut his name into her thigh accusation. That too will likely find its way into their responses. The point is that I'm willing to bet big money on that these videos will be shifting the topic. One big red herring logical fallacy. Instead of addressing the server and the group in an honest and direct way, they'll be victimizing themselves and yet again shifting the topic onto whoever has criticized them or helped me talk about the FCK, such as Ren. In fact, they're so fucking stupid that they edited the slideshow commentary wiki to flat out admit that they intend to turn Ren into a bandwagon by talking about the same shit they've already talked about in regards to Ren. The same accusation and actions that are already public, just to further distract from the FCK. We've already seen something similar to this previously with the threads that were immediately put out by Senate and SCC members, right after Lio's announcement of who FCK Leaks is. Those same threads were immediately deleted, probably because Lio thinks it'll help their videos if they save the information for them. They fail to realize that won't work because again it's not addressing the evidence. If the evidence to do with the FCK is true, bringing up the already known actions of someone else or the accusations that have already been thrown at them is a red herring reach out of pure desperation. Lio having Doodles and Nezziemonster help him is like the CIA investigating themselves. Overall, their responses will be a, don't talk about our old degenerate cesspool of a Discord server that just became public knowledge because we've been hiding it. Instead, talk about the things these others have done that we've already accused them of doing that's been public for years now. All to redirect the conversation because from what I've been told, they're direly wanting to do so. That is their primary focus with their responses. They want to gain victim sympathy points. Allegedly, they're trying to get the victims to side with them and use them as a shield, wanting them to defend them, though take that with a grain of salt. Then shifting the topic to what other people have done by smearing those who have criticized them, such as me, Kumo, Gilded, Inla, and Renminkin so that the FCK is less talked about, as they still think it's in their control or that they can gain control of it back from the audience if they cry wolf hard enough and point the finger elsewhere with, but they've done this, with accusations they've already made, though I hear they're trying to whip up some new ones. Nezziemonster doesn't seem to be a big fan of my recent TTR reports, taking to Twitter at 12:41 p.m. on April 14th of 2024 to say this: I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody gives a shit about change. Nobody will believe me when I do attempt to defend myself or correct things about the FCK situation, so what even is the fucking point? Well's been poisoned. I'll complete my comms, and then I don't know. Well's been poisoned. Well, for one, no it hasn't, because you don't deny in your tweet that you planned on talking about the things that I'm accusing you all of planning to do. If these things were false, why don't you say that it's false? Why don't you specify where I'm false? It shouldn't be that hard. You're telling me you can't provide one example of something that I have been wrong about throughout these various TTR reports in your tweet? That's impossible. You don't have enough word count? to say, oh, hey, you're wrong about this? And why is it that Lio and you all are frantically trying to figure out who my sources are? Because if I'm wrong, you would be able to use that against me, but instead you're trying to figure out who my sources are, most likely so that you can cut them off so they'll no longer give me information. Well, that's not indicative of me being wrong either. In fact, that's more indicative of me being right and you all being paranoid and freaking out because the bullets in your gun are being emptied before you can fire them. Why is it you're doing all this fucking scheming instead of just making the video talking about it? My videos, my TISM reports, wouldn't fucking exist if you all would just be direct and honest. But no, people are coming to me, telling me what you all are planning to do. Not just one person, not just two, multiple sources coming to me mentioning similar things that you all plan on talking about to distract away from the situation, because these individuals are disappointed and don't trust you all. And the one thing that's been consistent between all of the sources that have given me information, the one thing that has always been consistent across the board with all of them is that you all plan on doing red herring logical fallacy, pointing the finger and bringing up irrelevant shit about other people that are criticizing you so you can shift the fucking topic. So you want to talk about well poisoning logical fallacy when you all plan on changing the fucking topic and shifting it over to other people, whether it be talking about old shit that you've already talked about and made public years ago, or allegedly cooking up some new accusations to further distract away from the FCK situation. If you don't like the fact that I'm doing this, and you don't like the fact that people are coming to me telling me about it, don't fucking do it. Don't do the scheming shit. Just talk about it honestly. But me and you know that you're incapable of that. You were incapable of talking about the sexual harassment accusations honestly for 4 years, then wanted to play victim to harassment because of that. So of course you're not going to be honest when it comes to addressing the FCK shit. I would like you to be. I want to see the response. I want to see the information that is supposedly needing correction, contradicts my claims, and yet you won't be direct with this to anyone, including me. Why is that? And this, oh, but I've changed. Nobody cares about change. How can you change on something that you've been trying to keep a secret for 4 years? Make that make sense. This goes back to her sexual harassment accusations. I've changed. I've grown since then. How exactly have you changed and grown since then? Talking past tense here. If you lied about it for 4 years, how can you improve as an individual from doing something wrong, as you all love to talk about improvement and change, when you continue to lie about what you did? The same thing for Lio. They say that Lio has taken accountability and changed since the Jax call, and yet he's continuously lied about the Jax call as of February of 2024. So I ask again, how exactly is it that you've changed from this whole FCK thing when you've kept it secret? You haven't talked about it. You wanted to not talk about it. You wanted to avoid it. You wanted it to just fade away as if it didn't fucking happen, as if it didn't exist. But you care about the victims, right? You do. Even though you wanted what they went through to just fade away like it never fucking happened. What you and your friends got up to just fade away like it never happened.
You serious?
And then when people are upset with you because of what you provably did, you're suicidal. You have to be fucking kidding me. And on Twitter, she's recently started implying that there's more shit that she knew of in 2020 to do with the FCK that wasn't in the server itself. Bravo. Finally, some honesty, some transparency here. But this just means that you are implying that you know more, or that you knew more about what was going on, and yet still said nothing. Yet you could condemn others for doing exactly that. This isn't the all-saving grace that you think it is. But I have an idea as to what it is, and if it's what I think it is not what she thinks it is.